Getting you ready for game time. Join me, Sal from Behind the Arc Basketball, as I announce play-by-play. Make sure to smash the like and subscribe, because now we're about to go live. Entering the pregame, we now present Sal from Behind the Arc Basketball. And what's going on, everybody? Glad to have you guys in the stream once again tonight. Second game of the doubleheader. In this matchup here, Kansas State, the number 3 seed, taking on the 6 seed, TCU, in the Big 12 tournament quarterfinals tonight. I was kind of shocked to see TCU as the favorite on the line, 2-point favorite tonight for the Horned Frogs, over under set at 147.5. And a big update here, TCU from yesterday. It was announced that Eddie Lampkin will miss tonight's game and he'll miss the remainder of the Big 12 tournament. Did not travel with TCU for the conference tournament. I guess there's been like a problem situation here with him stepping away from the team. It looked like, according to sources that it was like something on social media between Eddie Lampkin's mom and head coach Jamie Dixon of TCU through a post that Eddie Lampkin posted over to Instagram, and something on social media about it. And yeah, he's not playing for the Big 12 tournament for Eddie Lampkin. So obviously, huge loss, brings a ton of physicality down low, and he's an absolute load at like 6'11". I remember last year he was like 300 pounds too, and he was hard to handle for Christian Coloco at Arizona in the second round game. So we're going to tip off in about under 6 minutes left to go. Kansas State this season, led by an incredible duo that they have. Marquise Noel, the point guard, one of the top assist leaders in the nation, averaging above 7 assists per game. And Keontae Johnson, what a remarkable comeback story for him. He's putting up just under 18 points per game this season for Keontae Johnson. They get a fun duo leading the team to watch this year for Kansas State. Been the most surprising team, in my opinion, in all college basketball this year, with Jerome Tang in his first season as head coach for K-State. Record of 23-8, 11-7 in the 3 seed in the toughest conference in America for the Big 12. And TCU bringing back all the experience that they had from last year, a bunch of upper-class players, and here they are, 20-11, 9-9. Right now projected as a 6 seed in the bracket, whereas Kansas State projected as a 3, most likely, in the tournament brackets. Porter, Waleed, Joe, welcome on the stream, guys, once again. Yeah, a lot of interesting games today. Xavier trailing most of that game against DePaul, barely squeaked by. And, yeah, Marquette, St. John's went into overtime. Marquette able to pull that one off. Let's see what we got here for scoreboard updates at the top of the hour. Arizona struggling in Stanford. If there's a team that's a 2 seed, if Arizona makes his way up to a 2, if there's a 2 seed that's most likely to lose, I'm going to go with Arizona. They have some bad losses this year. Washington State, Stanford, they gave up 88 to Stanford earlier this season. They got crushed against Oregon. Arizona just up by 1 against Stanford, 27-26. Minnesota's been playing better lately. Minnesota, the 13 seed out of the Big Ten, and Maryland leading 13-12 over Minnesota in that game. Maryland's been dropping a little bit lately. Boise State, they were on the bubble, convincing game for Boise State to make sure that they continue in the Mountain West tournament and don't pull off a Nevada tonight. 45-23, Boise State with a lead. Clemson, right now on the bubble. NC State played strong last night against Virginia Tech, put up over 90 on the board. And right now, NC State out to an early lead, 11-5 in the first, not even 4.5 minutes of action. NC State scoring 11 points in that game. NC State got destroyed by Clemson a couple weeks ago, and a big response by NC State so far. And then Vanderbilt, they've been red hot as of late. They won the last 8 out of 9 games for Vandy. Currently on the bubble, they have a lot of work to do. Probably will have to win the SEC tournament to get there, but Vandy leading LSU 4-0 right now. So those are games going on at the moment. And this game tipping off in under 5 minutes from now. And then another huge game later tonight, Arizona State, USC. That's a big game with bubble contentions. Arizona State right outside the bracket. USC is currently in right now as a 10 seed, I believe. And Villanova looking to see if they can move up, can put themselves in great position if they do pull out the victory over Creighton. That should be a great game today. Villanova probably going to have to win the Big East to get there, but they have been looking red hot lately for Nova. Yeah, Mizzou is making it in. So Missouri is making it in. They got like wavering seed projections for them. I saw them on, I think it was Lunardi. He had them as an 8. Jerry Palm's got them moved up forward. He has them as a 6. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go Villanova there. Yeah, I think Villanova is going to make a run to the Big East Championship for them. Creighton's been playing really well lately, too, though. I took UConn out of the Big East for them. UConn's been playing lights out lately. Alex, welcome back in, man. Gonna tip off in just a moment. Marquise Noel, Cam Carter, Desi Sills, Keontae Johnson, Naquan Tomlin, the starters tonight for K-State. Mike Miles, Damian Baugh, Emmanuel Miller, Checo Bannon, Xavier Cork, the starters for TCU. I've been just trying to see when TCU is going to come alive or not. They've had players in and out of their lineup this season for TCU dealing with injury. Mike Miles missed a couple weeks out of action, but I'm just interested to see how they respond tonight. If this is a distraction, Eddie Lampkin now just sidelined for this whole tournament due to personal reasons, and that being a distraction with a head coach involved there. I'm just interested to see how they come out tonight and perform in this game for TCU, because they're not an efficient shooting team. They rely on the most points in the nation out of any team when it comes to points in transition, points off the fast break. Kansas State, they've been an up-tempo, fast type of team. They move the ball around a ton for K-State, but they have struggled with turnovers this season for K-State. So that's the big key for Kansas State. Going to have to limit the turnovers in this type of matchup against a TCU team that's big and physical, but they're without Eddie Lampkin tonight in this game. Daniel, welcome in. Colorado's not in. Yeah, Colorado played close against UCLA, but they lost, so Colorado will not be in the tournament. King Markey, welcome back to the stream. Glad to see you again. Hit us up in the chat who you guys got for this matchup tonight, Kansas State or TCU. Haven't covered K-State in a while, so great to be back in, because this has been a fun team to watch this season. TCU, I don't think I've covered all this season for them. They haven't had like many national TV games. When the Big 12 games have been on Big 12 games have been on TV, some of them got put on like an ESPN Plus network instead. Joe, welcome back in. Hope all is going well, man. We're gonna tip off right now. TCU purple uniforms tonight. White numbers, white letters for the matchup. TCU goes with the white jerseys, purple numbers, purple letters for the matchup, and we are underway, and TCU controls the opening tip. Not too common that you see just two teams with purple and a white on the court together, but these two teams in the same conference. And here we go as we're underway. Mike Miles has it first for TCU, right to left in the floor for the Horned Frogs. Bounce pass over to Miles at the right baseline. Miles over Tomlin, and he gets fouled, and the clock will stop with 19:37. So Mike Miles will head to the free throw line. 2 shots coming up for TCU to start it off. Yeah, prayers to Bill Self. Sending prayers out to Bill Self there, as he will miss the whole Big 12 tournament for Bill Self in the hospital. And the first shot missed by Mike Miles at the line. Bradley, welcome in. Thanks so much for joining in, bud. Second free throw, and Miles missed it as well off the back rim. Lost out of bounds. It's out of bounds off Emmanuel Miller at TCU. So you can't get a worse start than that if you're TCU. You go to the free throw line, 2 missed free throws in a row, and then it goes out of bounds off your own teammate. First possession for K-State today. Marquise Noel, Cam Carter, Keontae Johnson, Desi Sills, Naquan Tomlin, the starting 5 for the Wildcats. Top of the key with Keontae Johnson. Johnson gets knocked down. No call by the referees as TCU tries to dig in, force a tie-up. They cannot. It's called a personal foul, reaching in by Emmanuel Miller. So first personal foul of the game picked up by TCU now, and just altogether just a rough start. First possession offensively into a reach and call on the first defensive possession. Inbound K-State underneath their hoop. And it gets poked out of bounds, touched by TCU. Yeah, I see Illinois will probably be on that 8-9 seed line. So, yeah, so they should be on the 8 or 9 seed line for them. Inbound over to Marquise Noel. Noel, edge of the logo. It's tough to win 3 times in a row. Penn State, though, was able to do that against Illinois. From the previous 2 matchups, Illinois really struggled defending the 3. Steal by TCU. They couldn't get it out in transition, though. Major block by Kansas State. Here goes K-State. 3-on-2. Right to the rim. Missed layup, though. Off the mark by Cameron Carter. Back it goes to TCU. That was a big block, and TCU turns it over inside the... Oh, they're going to say it's a reach and foul. Okay, it looked like a turnover at initial look right there, but there was a late whistle blown by the referee, so TCU will keep it. That's number 13 for K-State, who got the block. Desi Sills, right from behind, a major rejection just a moment ago. Inbound for TCU. 18:45 left to go in the first. Tough shot, got altered by K-State as they come up with a partial block that time. Marquise Noel up the floor. At the low left block, Cameron Carter moves it out to the top to Keontae Johnson. Over to Noel, drives, attacks down the lane. Oh, nice dump off Tomlin, floats it up. Around it, it goes in for 2. K-State on the board at first. Naquan Tomlin, great job to create right there, but a point guard, Marquise Noel. 7.7 assists per game, one of the top point guards in assists in the nation. Deflected pass, and K-State comes up with a steal. Here goes Keontae Johnson. Jumper, 2. He drills it in the key. Deep 2 for the 2 for the mid-range right there for Keontae Johnson. 4-0 K-State. 2 minutes through so far. TCU has to have ball security. They almost lost it again. Tomlin, though, knocked. No call. He almost knocked down one of the TCU dribblers in through contact, but no call by the referees, letting them play on. Offensive rebound, put back. It's good by Chuck O'Bannon. Man, this is a rough start for TCU so far, just handling the basketball. Marquise Noel at the top of the key, makes the pass to his right to Cam Carter. Into the hands Noel once again. Noel drives inside. Double team Noel. Passes on top over to Desi Sills. Shoots the 3. Straight away. Swoosh. What a start for K-State. Gotta love it when you get a point guard that can create right off the dribble. And force a double team, triple team into the key. Just open up the floor for everybody else. TCU in deep trouble right now. 17-10 left to go in the first. Bounce pass, deflected, stole away. Kansas State comes out with a steal. Outlet pass, out to the corner. 3, open. And no good, over the rim, missed by Marquise Noel. Took it kind of like off balance. He rushed that 3, pass ahead. TCU, another huge block from behind by Naquan Tomlin of K-State on the opposite side. 3-point shot at the wing, missed off the mark by K-State, though. Rebound by TCU. TCU thinks that they can finish in the rim. It's been a no shot area so far. Guess what? Another block by K-State. This is ridiculous. Block City. What is that now with 16.5 remaining? That is 3 blocks. As Naquan Tomlin scores, cutting to the hoop, it's 9-2. Block City by K-State, throwing body after body. 3 blocks and 2 steals for the Wildcats right now through the first 4 minutes. Runner, too tall off the glass. TCU's just not an efficient shooting team at the baseline. I thought that touched out of bounds. And this last touched off of Naquan Tomlin, number 35. Wow, no fly zone right now with his Kansas State defense. Holy smokes. Yeah, this is a complete change compared to the last game. Like, covering Oklahoma State, Texas, that game was a grind. Actually, the referees met about that call. And the referees say that it was out of bounds. Last touch by number 5 at TCU. Wow, that looked like it was off of Tomlin last. Clearly in the replay it was off of Tomlin. But referees met together. They reversed the call. They said it was out of bounds by Chuck O'Bannon of TCU. 9-2. Kansas State in deep, deep trouble. They came in as a 2-point underdog in this matchup, and they are just feeding off of that underdog mentality. Pass down the roll down. Wide open with a bucket. Two-handed flush by David Gasson. 11-2. Kansas State to the first 4 minutes and 20 seconds of action. What a start here for the Wildcats. And TCU, this is their problem. They're just not a great, efficient team. 3-point shot goes down, though, straight away. Chuck O'Bannon able to line up the 3. This is a second-point, scrappy, offensive rebound type of team, but without Eddie Lampkin tonight, without him for the rest of the Big 12 tournament. Lost the handle. Noel, though, out in the open, able to pick it up in the Phillips 66 logo. Lobs it over to Keontae Johnson, deflected out of bounds by TCU. 11-5 K-State, and we'll take the first time out of the night here. Wow, K-State just unbelievable start defensively. 3 blocks, 2 steals in the first 4 minutes and 51 seconds tonight. Statement start for K-State right out of the gate. They make their first 5 out of 7 shots. TCU in trouble, just 2 for 9 shooting by the Horned Frogs right now. Yeah, different for me for this matchup here because both of these teams never usually call 2 purple teams together. So this is definitely something that's different. Got scoreboard updates currently going on. Vandy looking good. Vandy most likely going to have to win the SEC tournament to get to March Madness, but they're just right outside the bracket. Vandy leading LSU 11-5. NC State taking on Clemson. Big game for Clemson as they're just outside the bracket, and right now NC State responding 18-11. NC State coming off a monster win yesterday over Virginia Tech, looking for more. Maryland only a 2-point lead against Minnesota, 17-15. With about 7 minutes left to go in the first half. Low-scoring game there. Boise State hammering UNLV right now, 50-34. And then Arizona in a tight game against Stanford, 38-35, with under 4 minutes left to go before halftime. We'll keep you guys posted on Creighton Villanova. Villanova most likely will have to win the Big East Tournament championship to get there, but they've been playing much, much better recently for Villanova, and Creighton out to a 2-zip lead in the first 2 minutes. If you're new in the stream, make sure to hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe. Glad to have you guys join in, being a part here on the channel tonight. Feel free to join the Behind Our Basketball Bracket Challenge if you guys would like to join the Tournament Challenge group once again this year. So that link is posted in the chat, pinned in the chat as well if anybody's interested. Marquise Noel, one of the top assist leaders in all college basketball. 3 assists in the first 5 minutes of action so far from Marquise Noel. Just attacking the paint, creating for his teammates left open on the outside. A 3-pointer made by Desi Sills. Keontae Johnson with a deep 2 he made. David Gasson with a 2 as well. Naquan Tomlin's got 4 points. Strong impact he has been so far for number 35, Naquan Tomlin, when he's been out on the floor. Desi Sills got 2 blocks. Cam Carter's got a block. Desi Sills, a transfer from Arkansas and Arkansas State. So he has played in prior basketball programs that preach and know what the level of physicality is. And Desi Sills, a great 6-man when he used to play at Arkansas. And here he is making a big impact this year as like a 6-man off the bench for Kansas State this season. They got a really good duo with Marquise Noel and Keontae Johnson. And then after that, they still got solid players along the team. Great start for K-State. We get back to action, 11-5. Jumper at the baseline, missed by Keontae Johnson. Rebound hauled in by TCU. Horned Frogs take it down in transition. Mike Miles straight to the rim, scores coast to coast. Warren, welcome back in, bud. That's who's going to have to get hot. Mike Miles coming off a 17-point game against Oklahoma on Saturday. And they're just a good downhill type of team for TCU. They're the best team in the nation when it comes to fast break points for TCU. That's how they operate, is Kansas State just turned it over. K-State has been struggling with turnovers this season, but they show up the graphic right here on the stream, 18.8 points per game on fast break points, leading the nation off the inbound underneath. TCU with 2 more on a quick 4-zip run in the last 15 seconds. Right back into the game for the Horned Frogs. K-State has it at the left wing. Out to the top to Cameron Carter, into the hands to Marquise Noel. Yet to score. He's got 3 assists so far. Finally scores. That was sweet. Teardrop runner into the key, made for 2 by Marquise Noel. Coming off a great game against West Virginia on Saturday. 24 points, 8 assists, 6 steals he had for Noel. At the free throw circle, Miles pass out to his left. 3-point shot missed off the back rim. Offensive rebound, though, TCU. 3 at the wing, rattles in. It's a make for TCU. It's going to be a call to deep 2 by Shahada Wells. His foot was on the 3-point line. So they called a deep 2. 2-point game again, 14 minutes left to go. Really good pace so far in this one. Marquise Noel at the wing. Dribbles up to the baseline. Noel swings across court. At the mid-block, lob it back to the perimeter, Keontae Johnson. Back outside, it goes to Ismail Massoud. Massoud, deep 2, high arcing, missed off the mark. Battle for the rebound, tipped out of bounds. Last touch by TCU. As it goes off in number 21, Jacoby Coles. Yeah, that front right foot's on the 3-point line on the last 3 made by Shahadi Wells. King Markey taking Kansas State in this game. Great matchup between these two teams here. TCU without Eddie Lampkin. I don't know when he's going to come back, but he's out due to a private matter. TCU called in a reach and fall, far side of the floor. That'll be personal foul number 2 in the night for the Horned Frogs, reaching in by Jacoby Coles. So they're going to bring in number 25 now for TCU, getting some playing time today. This is Suleiman Doumbia, junior center at 6'11". So Lampkin missing time. They have to go to Doumbia off the bench, inbound for K-State. Top of the key, Desi Sills. Sills, step back 3 straight away. Off the front rim, miss, tipped up, no good, and the rebound controlled by TCU. So really solid rebounding team for the Horned Frogs this year. Wells, corner 3, missed off the back rim. Offensive rebound, TCU. Emmanuel Miller, through traffic, almost lost it, gets it back. At the baseline, Shahada Wells. Outside the perimeter, it goes. Bounce pass out to the right baseline for TCU. Under 13 minutes left to go. Jumper, baseline, swoosh. By the Horned Frogs, they tie it up at 13. It's Emmanuel Miller with a jumper. Patrick, welcome in. Thanks so much for stopping by again, man. K-State's gone cold as of late, seeing if they can get back into their regular order, and they get called on the offensive foul. Naquan Tomlin pushing down Damian Baugh inside the key. Baugh takes the charge. TCU will come up with the basketball. TCU still maintaining that physicality right now without Eddie Lampkin playing in tonight's game. 12:39 left to play. It's been one of those type of games. Kansas State came out. They were firing. They were fast up the floor, opening up the floor, forcing turnovers. And TCU, with all the news entering today's game from yesterday that broke, right there so far in this matchup. Dump off down low, chance to tie. They couldn't get it to go. Missed shot at the rim by Emmanuel Miller. K-State brings up the floor. 12:20 left to go in the first. Tie game at 13. At the right wing perimeter, Desi Sills. Sills lost it, turns it over. Oh! Heads up play right there. You didn't have to do that, though. Damian Baugh at the corner pinned it right off of Desi Sills when Desi Sills was running away trying to get back in transition defense. And Baugh fired in the fastball off the buttocks of Desi Sills, and the ball went out of bounds. So it will be TCU ball. An official talking to Baugh about the last play. So I think he just gave him a warning about that as Baugh just fired a 90-mile-per-hour fastball with a right hand right off the buttocks of Desi Sills when Sills wasn't even facing him. He was turning around trying to get back in transition defense, and there was a good amount of space between the two. So it wasn't like he was completely pinned in the corner. Kick out, corner three, K-State, blocked out of bounds by TCU. So an unbelievable defense we got right now. Micah Peavy, a transfer from Texas Tech, coming up with a block at the corner for the Horned Frogs, and we take the media timeout. 11:48 left to go in the first half. 13-13. K-State finding themselves in a 2-minute, 47-second scoring drought right now as they have gone cold. This is some great basketball that we see on display. Top two players haven't been able to get going so far for K-State. Marquise Noel, just 2 points, made a runner. He's got 3 total assists, though. Keontae Johnson with just 2 points, 1 for 3 shooting from the floor. This is a TCU defense that will just haunt you on the glass. Rebound, rebound, rebound. TCU led by Chuck O'Bannon. He's got 5 points. Mike Miles has only got 2. Miles just 1 for 4 shooting so far. And Emmanuel Miller just 1 for 4 from the floor. Arizona, tight game going into halftime against Stanford. 47-43 Arizona. Creighton Villanova, low scoring game there. 7-6 Creighton leading. Maryland starting to run away against Minnesota, 28-19 Maryland. And Boise State taking care of business. They put up 50 in the first half against UNLV, 50-34. Vanderbilt leading LSU 16-11. NC State Clemson, a game Clemson desperately needs to get themselves in the bracket. Clemson leads 22-20 over NC State. Big 12, I'm gonna go Kansas. I had previously had Baylor before. That didn't work out too well today for me. That's rough. How could you lose 3 times to Iowa State? That's rough there for Baylor. They got a lot of searching left to do before the tournament. They just don't seem like they're right. Their defense has been leaky this year. Whenever I stream them for Baylor, Baylor's always won this year whenever I stream them. And then whenever it seems like they're playing otherwise, they just keep on dropping games. And away from home, the defense has been terrible. But at home, their defense has actually been solid. Big 10, I got Michigan State. Wow, Vanderbilt just won on a monster run, 23-11, Vandy over LSU. K-State looking to get their offense back in order in a scoring drought of almost 3 minutes. As we get back to action, if you're new in the stream, make sure to hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe. Feel free to join in tomorrow. I'll be covering Kansas versus Iowa State, the first game at 7 p.m. for the Big 12 tournament semifinals. And then after that, I'll be covering the second game in the Big 12 tournament semifinals tomorrow night. Texas versus the winner of this game will be the late game at 9:30. So 2 semifinal games tomorrow night. Riley, welcome back in the stream, man. We get back to action. 11:30 left to go. K-State left to right in the floor has the possession. Step back 3 in the air. Noel. Swoosh. Marquise Noel takes the 3 and drills it. Some difficult shots that K-State's made so far. Difference between the purple, that's a 16-13 lead by K-State. Yeah, it's different to me calling this game with 2 purple teams. So when you look at I actually have them. So I always think of K-State in the light purple, because that's what they played in sometimes this season. Jumper mid-range, couldn't get the bounce by Jacoby Coles for TCU. But TCU's got the purple jerseys today. K-State's playing in the white instead of the light purple for this game today. Marquise Noel at the top. Noel, oh, nice pass down low, wide open. That is number 23, Abayomi Ayola, who scores his first bucket. And Marquise Noel, 5 points, 4 assists so far, putting on a show, scoring and assisting on the last 2 baskets out of the timeouts. 5-zip run by K-State. TCU with a possession. Damian Baugh attacks, swings it out to the wing. Micah Peavy. Peavy inside the key. Shovels it out. Right wing 3 in the air. Mike Miles connects on it. 18-16 now. It's been a fun game to cover considering the last one was just rough between Texas and Oklahoma State. Bounce pass down low. Kansas State lost it. Turnover. Here goes TCU with the basketball. They got numbers 3-on-2 out of transition. Major rejection. Desi Sills. Block number 3 of the game, and we're just midway through the first half. No fly zone tonight. If you like the athleticism, you love the athleticism of number 13 in white and purple, Desi Sills, a transfer from Arkansas, who plays now for K-State. 6th man coming off the bench this year for Desi Sills. He picks up block number 3. 10 minutes into action. Wow, this is coming from a guard, a 6'1" guard, with 3 blocks. That is phenomenal. Skip pass, right corner. Mike Miles. Wow. Rips it through for the 3. TCU takes the lead. We got some elite basketball going on right here. Noel. Stuck at the logo. Double team. Gets the ball away. They got an opportunity underneath. Shot blocked by TCU. Put into the wrong hands, though, and they'll draw the contact and the foul. And Cameron Carter will shoot 2 coming up at the free throw line for K-State. 9:32 left to go in the first. Wow, I thought that missing Eddie Lampkin would affect TCU. They're right there. Actually, referees are going to say no foul call. No foul call. They're going to give Kansas State the basketball inbound, and now there's going to be a foul. Got 1 step behind the TCU defender. Desi Sills, inch for inch, playing his heart out so far in this matchup, giving Kansas State so much energy on the floor, and Desi Sills will head to the free throw line. 4 points, 3 blocks by Desi Sills. What a start for him. He'll shoot 2. 75% free throw shooter coming off the bench this year, averaging 8.5. Sills got the start tonight. First one's good. Second shots. That's good as well. 20-19. This has been a fun game in terms of pace so far. Not many fouls either. 2 personal fouls by K-State, 3 by TCU. See, TCU wants to play it big. They want to play it physical. Kansas State, usually the team that just knows how to create and get their shots going. And for them to be blocking shots like Desi Sills has been, that's sending a message right now to the opponent. Shahadi Wells moves it on top. Over to Damian Baugh. He's been times this season that TCU's offense has just been all out of sorts. Baugh, high arcing left-handed hook, missed off the glass too strong. Marquise Noel with a defensive rebound. Marquise, whenever he's on the floor, he just seems like he's so in control of everything. Pass out to his right to Desi Sills. Sills at the right wing perimeter. Sills, pass over to Noel. Deep range three from the logo. Missed off the mark. Looking for the Steph Curry three right there by Marquise Noel. Rebound back to TCU. Mike Miles attacking inside the paint. And he'll draw the shooting foul. 2 shots coming up at the free throw line for TCU. This is a really just good spaced Kansas State offense that they have with the basketball. TCU is more like drive, pound it through your throat type team. Drive to the hoop, push tempo. They play fast for TCU. Miles shooting 2. First one's good. I think this game so far gives me still the confidence to pick TCU in the first round, and even beyond, without that even says without Eddie Lampkin tonight, because I wasn't sure entering tonight about them, but they could be bound for a 5 seed. That's the only thing. They're better off getting the 6, in my opinion, for TCU. You're better taking the 6 seed than going against a really, really difficult 12 seed if you're a 5. Knowing that there's other teams that can shoot the ball lights down. Marquise Noel at the top. Noel, step back 3, deep range, and it results in a shot clock violation. So 2 tough possessions right there. Turnover by K-State. Jerome Tang talking to the official about the call. Unhappy about the call. He thought Noel was fouled right before the buzzer on the 3-point shot. He got knocked down, but there was no call by the refs. Mellor right now, I believe, is a free agent currently. 8 minutes left to go. Thanks so much for the update there, Vegas. So 18-13, Creighton with a lead. Jumper to elbow, missed by TCU. Rebound goes over to David Gasson for K-State. Noel, just 5'7", from Harlem, New York, the point guard. Able to track it in play. Ismail Massoud out to the top. Desi Sills, kick out, corner, 3 on its way. K-State gets it. Ismail Massoud at the corner. Great job to save that basketball in the first place to keep the possession alive. 7:30 left to go before halftime. Miles hands it off on top. Ball goes into the hands now of Damian Baugh. Baugh at the top of the key. Baugh dribbles, swings it out to the wing, into the hands to O'Bannon. O'Bannon rises for the jumper. Deep 2, got knocked down. And 2 free throws coming up at the line for Chuck O'Bannon for TCU. Hey, thanks so much for the update there, Alex. So Maryland's leading Minnesota 31-24 at halftime. And Minnesota's been playing better as of late. Looks like we're going to take the timeout on the floor as well. So not a whole lot of fouls so far in this game. This game's had tremendous pace so far. Both of these teams pushing it up the floor. 7:15 left to go before half. It's 23-21 K-State. TCU's gone cold last 2.5 minutes. They've yet to score for the Horned Frogs. K-State's been the more efficient shooting team, 47% from the floor. TCU with just 35% shooting, but also the rebound numbers going in favor of K-State, 14-11 currently. It's just got to keep the ball out in front if you're Kansas State. 6 total turnovers, TCU with just 2. That's been the problem this season for K-State. They can score points. They just have to limit the turnovers. And TCU scored 5 points off of those turnovers. TCU's got just 2 points off the fast break. They average more than anybody in the country, averaging above 18 points off the fast break. But just a great game so far. 4 blocks by K-State, 2 by TCU. TCU leading the offensive rebound numbers 5-3. And TCU's got 9 second chance points over 5 by K-State. That's what TCU thrives upon. And they're without Eddie Lampkin tonight, yet they're still in this game. I guess the bigger answer from earlier today is like, if Oklahoma State does play in the play-in game, do I even take them? That's the thing for them, because Texas with a commanding victory today over Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State couldn't even score 50 in that game. And Oklahoma State's without their number 2 scorer, Avery Anderson, for the rest of the season. Like, I believe they lost the last 6 out of 8 games for Oklahoma State. Like, it's just difficult. That offense just could not get going today. That was rough. Arizona leading at halftime over Stanford, 47-43. This is a Stanford team that's 14-18 and playing Arizona tough. Stanford, by the way, beat Arizona earlier in the year. Like, I don't get what's wrong with Arizona. Like, the fact that that's a close game right now, that's concerning for Arizona. Stanford. You know what about Stanford, though, is that they don't have, like, oh, man, they lost to Cal by 22. Stanford lost to Cal by 22. Stanford beat Chicago State by 7. Back to action. Free throws at the line for TCU. First one's good by O'Bannon. Second one is good as well. (23-23), 7:10 left to go before halftime. Kansas State able to cross midcourt. TCU went with full court pressure. Straightaway 3, too long off the back rim by Noel. Coming out of the pack, here goes Mike Miles. Miles, handoff, 3 on its way. Missed off the back rim by O'Bannon. Tipped up, and Keontae Johnson collects the defensive rebound. 23 even, passing underneath the hoop. Out to a cutter. Here they go, floating it up and drawing the foul. And Desi Sills looked like he shot out of the cannon there, receiving the pass. Sills will shoot 2 coming up at the free throw line. So Sills been the player of the game so far for K-State. 5 points and 3 blocks. Hits the first free throw. Second shot's good as well. 2-point lead for K-State. So he's got career highs already in the first 10 minutes plus of action by Desi Sills with those blocks. With his 3 tonight. A 6'1" guard showing his tremendous athleticism. Dump off. Oh, huge 2-handed jam by Xavier Cork of the Horned Frogs. 6.5 left to go before halftime. 5 ties, 4 lead changes, largest lead K-State by 9, and kudos for TCU to get back into this game because the Horned Frogs, not the most efficient type of shooting team, missing Eddie Lampkin, but able to still get on the offensive glass and get second chance points either way. Inside the key, K-State coughed it up. TCU comes out with the basketball, attacking inside. Oh, Desi Sills, 4th block of the game, goes off the bottom part of the backboard, ricocheted right back to a TCU players. TCU jacks up the 3 and connects on it. Micah Peavy, right place, right time. 28-25, got the bounce. Horned Frogs with the lead. 5:45 left to go. K-State with the ball. As we have a whistle inside the low post, clock will stop with 5:39. It's going to be a reach and fall picked by TCU by Xavier Cork. Desi Sills, 4 blocks, 7 points. We'll check out of the game now for K-State. Inbound for the Wildcats, down by 3. Keontae Johnson at the top. Johnson dribbles up, attacks inside the paint, and puts it up off the glass and scores. Keontae Johnson with 2 on the board. He's got 4 now as he scores the bucket down low. And a timeout taken on the floor by TCU. 5:18 left to go before halftime. 1-point game currently as the Horned Frogs burn a timeout. What's good? Good, Pupper. Welcome back in the stream. Thanks so much all for joining in. If you guys are interested in joining in the Behind Your Basketball Bracket Challenge group, feel free to do so. We are back once again. I believe we got over 25 plus brackets out there already, so make sure to sign up if you guys would like for the Behind Your Basketball Bracket Challenge. Quick update on the scoreboard. Creighton looking good, leading Villanova 28-16. It's Creighton on the rise as of late. That's a hot Villanova team. And Creighton's got a really good starting 5 this season. Arizona in a tight game against Stanford. 54-49. We'll keep you guys posted. This game has been tremendous. Desi Sills, career high. 4 blocks in the first 14 minutes. A 6'1" guard transfer from Arkansas making a huge impact for K-State. Corner 3 from the timeout missed by TCU. 5 minutes left to go before halftime. K-State down by 1. It's been back and forth. Marquise Noel at the edge of the midcourt logo. Noel guarded by Rondell Walker. Entry pass down low. Keontae Johnson stumbles, gives it away. Turnover by K-State. Turnover's been a major issue so far in this game. TCU with the possession. Dribble drive, attack inside, off the glass, no good. Offensive rebound, Jacoby Coles. He got held up and he got fouled. And that'll be Kansas State's 4th personal foul as a team. Clock will stop with 4:38. Ismail Massoud picks up the personal. That'll be number 2 picked up by Massoud. 2 personal fouls picked up by Naquan Tomlin. Inbound underneath K-State. Bounce pass and too easy. Jacoby Coles scores in the bucket. K-State just missing paint defense. TCU is a scrappy second chance type of team. They're good at the rim, and K-State called in the turnover. Back-to-back turnovers by K-State. See, that's going to be the bane of this team. They got 9 turnovers in the first half. They turned it over too much. That's the problem. They average around like 14 turnovers per game, which you wouldn't expect because Marquise Noel's got one of the best assist-to-turnover ratios in the country, but the problem hasn't been his turnovers. Right now, he's got 4 assists to 1 turnover. It's just a lot of the problems this season has been the front court guys, and that's been the struggle. And TCU just another bucket at the rim. They're up by 5. 4 minutes left to go in the first. Here goes K-State drive, attack, and another turnover. 3 in a row by K-State. Desi Sills completely just pushes off. With one of his hands off the dribble drive attack straight away, Rondell Walker takes the charge. And it goes back to the Horned Frogs with under 4 minutes left. This could be the experience paying off for TCU. Like, this is kind of shocking myself. I thought they'd struggle without Eddie Lampkin. At the beginning of the season, I thought this TCU team could be like, maybe work its way, if they can develop a 3-point shot, like work its way up to an Elite 8 type of team with all the experience that they bring back. Honestly, not sure if they're going to get to that because they're without Eddie Lampkin, and he was major last year against Arizona in the second round. But, man, see, it all depends on who they draw. I don't know what seed TCU will be. In my honest opinion, I think TCU is better off being a 6 for them than a 5. Because if you have a 5, you're either going to draw probably Oral Roberts or possibly Drake. Those are two tough matchups there. If you get a 6, you'll probably go up against another, like, fluttering power conference team that's fluttered within weeks, that's drifting back and back and back. And if you get the 6, then you get a good chance to take on Arizona, which is the 3. Arizona is either going to be a 3 or 2, and book it here, they're not making second weekend. Arizona ain't going to make the second weekend. Too many turnovers with that team. And just inconsistency. Lost to Stanford once. Looks like they're losing to Stanford now. That is just sad. That Stanford team's got a record of 14-18. 59-58 Stanford. I stayed up past midnight to watch the UCLA-Arizona game. I did not like what I saw from Arizona. Too many turnovers. They can't play defense. Their scoring numbers are just a tad down from last year, but they're still one of the top scoring teams in the nation. Like, they'll put up high points, but the problem is they can't defend. Their defense is bad. Their perimeter defense especially is bad. And the problem about that is that there's not too many good perimeter shooting teams in the Pac-12 to begin with. So, I can see Arizona losing against Colgate in the first round if they get matched up against each other. I can honestly see that. I saw in the bracket it's out in Sacramento for the region. I mean, Matt Lengel eventually is going to get over the hump. He's lost 3 in a row in the tournament to who? Tennessee, Arkansas, and then Wisconsin. 3 top 30 defenses. They could prove that they could score with them. Like, they could hang in with those 3 teams. They hung in with Tennessee, Arkansas, and Wisconsin last year. All 3 of those teams, when they played them in the tournament, were top 30 defenses. Now they got if they take on Arizona, that's a defense ranked in the 200s. Like, Arizona's got enormous size, but, I mean, they can't defend the sharpshooting. That's a problem. They get back to action. Yeah, I think Creighton's, right now, I think they're a 5. They're going to move up to a 4, probably, for Creighton. Back to action, straightaway 3, missed off the front rim by Jacoby Coles, knocked out of bounds. It'll be K-State ball. Laszlo, welcome in. Thanks so much for joining in, man. So, Providence, a 7 seed, looking for Bryce he put out there. Yeah, probably going to be back like 10 or 11 in the actual tournament for them, but Bryce playing them as a 7 for his own simulated bracket. 3.5 left to go before halftime. TCU 5-point lead. It's been back and forth, back and forth. Kansas State, too many turnovers. That's been the problem so far in this game. They've turned it over 10 times in the first half. Bounce pass trying to stay in bounds. Lucky pass there as that was almost lost. 3-point shot at the wing, missed by Cameron Carter. Tipped off the glass, and TCU comes out with a defensive rebound. 5-point lead. Kansas State able to stop the fast break attempt. On the outside, it gets sent to Mike Miles. Miles moves it on top. Back out from Rondell Walker to Miles. Walker has his. They move it around the perimeter. Corner 3 by TCU. That's good. Emmanuel Miller drills the 3. It's a major response here by the 6th seed. Hey, have a nice night, Alex. I'll see you tomorrow, man. Feel free to stop on by tomorrow. I'll cover both of the Big 12 semifinal matchups. We got Kansas taking on Iowa State at 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow, followed by the winner of this game will take on Texas at 9:30. Jumper is good at the left elbow by Keontae Johnson. Oh, awesome, Bryce. Yeah, if you're on the Discord, feel free to message me on the Discord if you're on that. 2:20 left to go before half. Passing off to a cutter. Backdoor in the bucket. Made by TCU, number 13, Shahada Wells. This is really impressive how TCU has been able to keep their composure. No Eddie Lampkin tonight. They were down by 9 in the early going, and now they're up by 8 with 2 minutes left to go before halftime. Marquise Noel, pass out to the left wing perimeter, open 3, K-State. off the back rim missed, and TCU collects the defensive rebounds. And a travel violation called in the backcourt by TCU. K-State's been the better team. It's just a better shooting team so far. It's just the turnover's been a nightmare. It's a 9-shot differential between these two teams right now. Kansas State 11 for 25 shooting. TCU 14 of 34. Problem with 10 total turnovers. TCU scoring 12 points off of K-State turnovers tonight. Plus 7 to 3 in the offensive rebounds, which they're leading 14 to 5 in the offensive glass without Eddie Lampkin. That's a major issue for Kansas State trying to contend. There's a wedgie. Oh, we got a wedgie. Haven't seen that in a while. Kansas State shot the 3, and then they tried to get a tip in, and they got wedged in between the back left corner of the rim and the backboard. Haven't called a wedgie in a while. I think I covered a couple wedgies 2 tournaments ago. Wow. Marist or St. Peter's? So Iona got knocked out. Wow. Oh, no, they didn't get knocked out. Okay, so I misread that. Yeah, Iona did not play today. So they'll either be in the tournament final. An 11 versus 10 out of the MAAC will probably play Iona, the 1. I'll open up that bracket when they have a chance. We're going to take the timeout right now. Yeah, so Iona's still in. Yeah, Gonzaga's probably going to get the 2 seed for them. I think they put the whole nation on notice on Tuesday night, just destroying St. Mary's. St. Mary's most likely fell back to a 6, but if they're a 12, that's going to be tough for them. So there's so many, or if they're a 5, that's going to be tough because there's so many hot 12 seeds right now. Yeah, wow. St. Peter's and Marist. Marist getting past the 3, Quinnipiac, and then St. Peter's beat the 2, Ryder. 1:31 left to go. I'm pretty sure Ryder barely lost to Providence. I'm pretty sure. Inside a key, and that's a basket by K-State. Ismail Massoud right to the rim. A great response coming onto the timeout there for K-State. 1:15 left to go in the first. Out to the wing, open 3, TCU, missed off the rim by Micah Peavy. Down to the final minute left to go before halftime. Marquise Noel takes up the floor for the Wildcats. Noel drives, downhill right to the rim, tough take, no call, but the referee's offensive rebound up through traffic, no good as Marquise Noel, we have to see if he's okay. He was down in the middle of the floor as his teammate Tyke Green came up with the offensive board. And this is going to be free throws coming up at the line for Tyke Green with 55 seconds. First free throw, no good, missed at the line by Tyke Green. 55 seconds left. Yeah, hopefully he'll be able to come through there for the TPC Sawgrass. Yeah, I guess there was like texts that were exchanged between Eddie Lampkin's mom and head coach Jamie Dixon. And I guess it wasn't appropriate text according to Eddie Lampkin's mom. What Jamie Dixon said, it was regarding a post that Lampkin had posted on Instagram. So Eddie Lampkin, he is out for the entire Big 12 tournament. This is quite surprising right now. I thought that would be a major distraction, but TCU with a 5-point lead. 20 seconds left to go in the halftime. As the officials stop play here on the floor. And, oh yeah, they stop play. Keontae Johnson bleeding from the ear, I believe. So an injury timeout right now for Keontae Johnson. Is this the ear or is this the eye? We're trying to see. It's like the left side of the face. Oh, it's the eye. Yeah, Keontae Johnson, Gatorade towel right now over his eye. Gee. Keontae Johnson's going to have to go to the locker room right now. So the time has stopped. We got 18 seconds on the clock. Emmanuel Miller. Ooh! Emmanuel Miller going up for a basket. Big right elbow by Emmanuel Miller to the eye of Keontae Johnson. And Johnson has to head to the locker room right now. He's got a towel on one of his eyes. So the officials have stopped play with 18 seconds. And obviously that's a major loss for K-State. That's the top scorer and the top rebounder this season for the team. I think he's averaging around like 18 and 7 for Keontae Johnson. So that's a major, major loss. So hopefully he'll be able to get back on the floor. 18 seconds left to go, but without the top scorer and the top rebounder, and the paint defense has already suffered throughout this game today. TCU keeps on going after K-State down in the paint. TCU will get the inbound. 18 seconds remaining underneath their hoop. Bounce pass left corner, Mike Miles. Mike Miles will bring it out to the edge of the logo. 13 seconds left to go before halftime. Miles at the top of the key. Miles pass out to his right over to Jacoby Coles. Back over to Miles. Deep two jumper. Airballed it. Battle for the rebound. Knocked out of bounds with 2 seconds. And the referees will point and say it's still TCU ball. So shot clock expired. 2 seconds left to go. Underneath, they'll get the inbound. Miles the inbound passer. Passes baseline. Going to have to get off a shot. Tough one. Step back. Off the front rim. Missed. And we enter halftime. 37-32. Big problem spot for Kansas State's been the turnovers in the first half as TCU playing fast, playing their tempo of a game in the first half. Impressive so far. Without Eddie Lampkin, that TCU comes out like this. They've just blocked out all the noise. Certainly, if this team can stay healthy, they're a team that can make a deep run for TCU. If they can stay healthy and if they can put together a perimeter shot, they certainly can. And today they've been able to do that. They've made 5 of 12 3-point shots so far in the game, shooting almost 42% from 3 for TCU. And this is a team that's just they'll just go straight line and attack you. They're so good. They're so fast. They're great on transition. They're the best team when it comes to points off the fast break this season. So far, the case has been points off turnovers, which you cannot allow TCU to get if you're Kansas State. 12 points off turnovers by TCU, and then TCU leads second chance points. They're also a great offensive rebounding team, 14-8 with the second chance points. Offensive boards 8-4. That's been some of the keys in this matchup. So TCU, despite shooting just 37% from the floor, and Kansas State at 44%, there's an 11-shot difference between the two teams because K-State's turned it over 11 times in the first half. And Marquise Noel is a great point guard. Really good point guard. He's got 4 assists to 1 turnover. The problem being is that just his teammates have just struggled with the basketball. It's been the problem all season long, especially the front court guys just turned it over too much. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that TCU was the 2-point favorite. I thought it'd be a good chance. K-State came out. They were on fire. They got out to a 9-point lead. So, I would have predicted K-State for this matchup. And, yeah, it's kind of shocking because they're just like Iowa State. It's totally interesting. you're missing a key player. Iowa State with Caleb Grill, and they go and sweep Baylor. It's crazy. Iowa State's a super physical team, and I wasn't sure like how TCU would hold up without Eddie Lampkin, but man, just still bringing the physicality. Like a lot of their baskets have been right at the rim, or second chance that they've got right at the rim. And that was a big difference in the tournament last year. A lot of the teams that made it further were the more bigger, stronger, physical type of teams. Right now at halftime, we got some updates here. Let's see. Creighton leading Villanova at the half, 32-23. Holy smokes, what am I witnessing with this Boise State UNLV game? Wasn't Boise State up by like 20 at halftime? Folks, UNLV has taken the lead 67-65 over Boise State. I'm just going to have to do a double check to make sure that's not a typo, but oh my goodness. I want to see what's the second half. Wow. UNLV outscoring Boise State 33-15 in the second half. There's no way that's a tournament team. Same thing as Nevada. There's no way Boise State's a tournament team. They're going to get in, it looks like, for Boise State. Ain't no way I'm going to pick them. How do you choke a game like that? That's worse than the Celtics. They led 50-34 at halftime, and now UNLV leads 67-65. A 33-15 advantage in the second for UNLV. Like, I want no business picking Mountain West teams in my bracket because I've said it all along the season that the Mountain West is going 0-3 in the bracket. If they even get 3 teams in. At one point they had 5, and all these Mountain West teams are choking it open. I was looking at San Diego State's best non-conference win was against Ohio State. They barely squeaked past Colorado State today. Yeah. Big woof for the Mountain West. Really big oof there. Let's see. Boise State is a 10, about to play Creighton, according to Jerry Palm. How is Creighton a 7? Jerry Palm's got Creighton as a 7. Yeah, this would do massive damage to Boise State. Joe Lunardi has Boise State in the last 4 byes with Providence, Pittsburgh, Mississippi State. So they're one of the last 8 teams in the bracket, along with Penn State, Oklahoma State, Rutgers, Utah State. So Joe Lunardi's got Boise State as a 10 seed against Iowa. Which, do you really trust the McCaffreys? They won their first round game 2 years ago. And then they lost in a shootout against Oregon with a National Player of the Year, Luka Garza. And then last year they lost against Richmond in the first round. And then they lost against Ohio State today. I believe the last 12 attempts in the tournament, the Mountain West has a record of 1-11. Michigan, I'll probably say no, most likely. Yeah, I think there's a likelier... I think today there's a Wisconsin could make it in because the tournament committee said that they do factor injuries. They do factor injuries into the mix. And Wisconsin's been plagued by their injuries. And here's the thing. Wisconsin fell today. UNC fell. like, who wants it? Who really wants it? Vanderbilt keeps on moving up, which I thought would be impossible, but Vandy has been playing lights out lately. Won the last 8 of 9. Right now, Vandy leads 37-29. So Vandy's moving up. Oregon barely squeaked by, so Oregon's still in the mix, which I have no clue how they're in the bubble. Arizona State, USC, major game tonight for Arizona State. Nevada's done. Providence, Pitt moving backwards. Mississippi State moving up. Should be enough for them because of the teams that keep on losing. Penn State sealed it today. They're in. Rutgers should be in, at least the playing game for Rutgers. Utah State. They got New Mexico later tonight. And then if New Mexico wins, we have to talk about bid stealers because New Mexico certainly can get past San Diego State. They lost in a buzzer beater a couple weeks ago against San Diego State. So Joe Lunardi, he had updated his bracket after the Wisconsin loss, so he pushed Wisconsin backwards from the last 4 into the first 4 out. What he didn't do was push UNC backwards, Arizona State backwards, Nevada backwards just yet, which Nevada's done. So UNC should be behind Wisconsin now. Arizona State, if they lose tonight, should be behind Wisconsin. So out of a miracle, this Wisconsin team is still alive since Oklahoma State lost. If Utah State loses tonight, Wisconsin is still alive. And then let's see what we got. Clemson, NC State. Clemson can work their way back to the bracket with a win. Right now they're doing that 48-42 Clemson. So Clemson with a win could work their way into the bracket tonight. Vandy, they still got work to do, but they're up over LSU 37-34. LSU tightening the gap. Maryland taking care of Minnesota 45-32. Maryland probably an 8 seed. Boise State playing for their tournament lives. 68-67. Boise State just took the lead back against UNLV. So really a good amount of games at this hour. And then there's games like overnight that will go like to 2 in the morning. That Arizona State USC game, New Mexico Utah State. Those are games that will go to like 2 in the morning probably. Yeah, Duke, everything is coming full circle for Duke. Like, Duke's playing lights out. I would not be shocked to see Duke. Definitely right now, it looks like Duke to the second weekend based on how they're playing for Duke. I would not be shocked to see Duke to like the Elite 8, the Final 4 for Duke. We'll see if that continues for Duke. Because tomorrow's game against Miami is massive. If Duke wins that game, they're a 4. If Duke loses, Duke can move up to a 3 even, I feel like, for them. If Miami loses, they're a 5 seed for Miami. And then you're looking at a juicy matchup in the shootout versus Oral Roberts probably in the first round. It's wild because that Duke-Miami game is bigger than people think. Not only for the ACC Tournament Championship game on Saturday, but also for seeding lines. Like, who wants the 5, who wants the 4. Strongly, the message is out there. Whoever gets a 5, that's the toughest seed to be this year, I feel like, because of all the 12-5 upsets we've had in the past. And then these 12 seeds this year seem like they're the strongest 12 seeds we've had in a long, long time. Yes, I hope to cover the SEC Championship. That's on Sunday, the SEC Championship. So that's 1 p.m. on Sunday. SEC, Big Ten, and then Selection Sunday. It would be. I want to see Oral Roberts given a chance. Like, I saw yesterday in Jerry Palm's bracket that he put Duke versus Oral Roberts. That makes no sense considering how hot Oral Roberts is, how hot Duke is. That's a nightmare matchup for Oral Roberts. Just Duke is so big. They got so much size. Like, Duke's going to give so many teams trouble. So many teams trouble in the tournament, I feel like, because they're coming everything's just clicking right now for Duke. And they just have so much talent on the team, and they got just so much size on that team. We'll have to wait and see who's in the SEC tournament championship. So we got today to get through, and then tomorrow, and then Saturday, and then also whoever wins, keeps on advancing, will play on Sunday. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the committee factors in teams that are slipping that will play like a red-hot team. Like, if you're slipping and you have losses against Florida State in the month of February, if you had a loss against Georgia Tech on your schedule, then you might get that dangerous team like Oral Roberts. Or if you're a team that's slipping that barely got by DePaul, lost against DePaul, I believe lost against Butler, could be an option to put you against Oral Roberts. So, all depends. I don't think they're going to put a team that's red hot against Oral Roberts. Because back from last year in the bracket, they did Providence no justice, giving them South Dakota State. And that's because Providence got crushed by Creighton in the Big East tournament. So the committee was just like, here you go, get the hottest team in all college hoops. And it was a razor-thin betting line, I remember, for that matchup. So if you're a team that's slipping, Virginia with a big win today, but they've got some tough losses in the past. The BC, that one is the one definitely. They lost by double digits against BC. That, if they suffer like another like tough loss in the ACC tournament, then they might get thrown in like a red-hot team like Toledo as like a 13 in the mix that nobody would want to face right now because they've been lights out shooting the ball. Yeah, I had predicted Texas A&M to win the SEC tournaments. Texas A&M is 17-3 in their last 20 games. They're ranked top 10. They're ranked top 10 in the last 30 days in adjusted efficiency. Like, that's a team that nobody's talking about. That's just flying under the radar right now. I would hate to see them get a matchup against Sam Houston in the first round. See, Texas A&M's on the rise. Sam Houston could be... I've seen them as a 12. I've seen them as a 13. They got a top 5 defense. They beat Oklahoma. Nobody's talking about them. If they win their conference, they're going to go into the tournament with just 6 losses. We get back to action. K-State right to left in the floor. Has it off the block shot. It's been a block fest today for Kansas State with Desi Sills, a career-high 4 blocks in the first half. They get 6 blocks as a team. K-State has it the wing. Noel jacks up the 3, not even close. Offensive putback, though. Keontae Johnson back up in the game, and he scores up and in off the glass. What's good, Renee? Woo Pig, welcome back in the stream here, guys. 11 turnovers by Kansas State crushed them in the first half. Going to have to do a much better job keeping the ball out in front. Mike Miles floats it up and draws the shooting foul. So TCU back to the charity stripe shooting too. Feel free to join the Behind Our Basketball Bracket Challenge group. That link is posted in the chat, pinned in the chat if you guys would like to be a part of that. Once again, 2 shots coming up at the free throw line. Mike Miles Jr. for TCU. First one to make. Yeah, thanks so much, Renee. Really appreciate it for joining in again. Second free throw is good. 5-point lead TCU. As we're through the first minute of action so far in the second, Kansas State with the ball. Cameron Carter passes out to his right to Desi Sills. Over to Marquise Noel, bounce pass Naquan Tomlin. Picked up 2 quick personal fouls in the first half. Tomlin dish out to the wing to Carter, and a whistle and a reach and fall picked up by TCU, which charged to Damian Baugh. So inbound coming up. Noel, mid-block, bounce pass, baseline jumper. Keontae Johnson missed off the front rim. Rebound controlled by O'Bannon. TCU with the ball. Miles, kick out, corner 3, open. That's good by Damian Baugh. Largest lead of the game now for TCU, 42-34. This has been an exciting game. Both of these teams with a lot of tempo. Lost. And a turnover by K-State. Marquise Noel tried to drive right into a double team. TCU came up with a steal. Oh, they're gonna call a reach and fall, picked up though by Emmanuel Miller. So he reached in. So back it will go to K-State. So 1 personal foul each. Inbound for K-State. Have to do a better job taking care of the basketball. 12 turnovers. Keontae Johnson, dangerous dribble behind his back. Sets up a 3 straight away. Naquan Tomlin drills the 3. So they get themselves winning 5. That guy's been great when he's been on the floor. Perfect 3 for 3. 7 points in 8 minutes. He just got into deep foul trouble early on, and they had to go towards their bench in the beginning portion of this game. Runner missed around the rim and out by Damian Baugh. Rebound back, it goes to K-State. Under 18 minutes left to play. Kansas State with a possession. Tomlin. Hand off, drive, kick, corner, open 3. Keontae Johnson sinks it. And now K-State decides this is a great time to play make instead of turning over the basketball. And look at that, they're on a run. 6-zip run in the last 35 seconds. Keontae Johnson, what a comeback season he's had. 42% from 3, the top scorer, the top rebounder. And he exited late stage of the first half. He got hit in the eye with under 1 minute left to go. Great to see he's back on the floor, because with his loss, if he was out, that would be just a massive, massive loss. Mike Miles lost the handle. Loose ball, picks it up though. Dishes underneath. Tough shot. Tipped up in the air. Shot clock violation. Charged to TCU. Jamie Dixon looking around about the call. It's going to go right back over to K-State though. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Referees called a foul late on the shot clock before the shot clock went down by Keontae Johnson. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. And that's Keontae Johnson's 3rd. So he's got 3. So that's number 3 by Keontae Johnson. Wow. So this will be free throws coming up. 2 of them at the line as they have reversed the call. Initial call was shot clock violation, but this will send Chuck O'Bannon to the free throw line. Yeah, that's a critical call on the floor. O'Bannon with 7 points. Baba Booey, thanks so much for joining in. 2 shots at the line. First one is good by O'Bannon. Second shot, skipped around and in. 4-point TCU lead. This Arizona-Stanford game's pretty close. Under 17 minutes left to play. Loose ball, K-State. It's going to be a reach-in foul picked up by Emmanuel Miller of TCU. K-State will get the inbound underneath their hoop. Inbound goes out to the perimeter. Keontae Johnson stumbles, lost it, tied up. Jump ball, possession arrow, K-State. Stanford ranks in the 200s in scoring. They only average around 70 points per game. They only got 2 guys averaging double figures in that team. Nobody's scoring more than 14 points per game for Stanford. That's crazy. Stanford's the best 3-point shooting team in the Pac-12. It's crazy. I'm going to jump over to that Arizona game log because if they're having problems defending the 3, they might get matched up with Colgate and their best record as a program in recent memory for them. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, how is Arizona struggling that bad against Stanford? The team's got a 14-18 record. They played them close. Arizona's starting to pull away right now, 88-78. Well, it's not like that. A couple minutes ago, the score was 80-78. So Arizona on an 8-zip run as I spoke. First shot good at the line for K-State. Yeah, Stanford's 12 of 25 from 3, shooting 48% from 3. They turned it over 15 times. They've been in the game. It's insane. Both of the shots good at the line for K-State. 16.5 left to play. TCU with possession. They attack right downhill. Missed it. Oh, man. Putback jam. Throwing it down to Manuel Miller. Two-handed putback jam for TCU. Yeah, Stanford's been one of the bottom Power 5 teams in the nation. Marquise Noel through traffic. TCU called on another reach and foul. And the game clock will stop with around 16 minutes. Boise State looking to survive the scare if this does go final very soon. 73-70, Boise State 3-point lead against UNLV with 7 seconds left to play. 16 minutes we have on the clock here. Inbound for K-State. Down by 4, hanging in all throughout this game. Naquan Tomlin attacks the paint, missed a reverse-handed layup, made it too much more fancier than it should have been. Mike Miles with the ball stolen at midcourt, though, by K-State. Sills passes down low. They turn it over right back. Mike Miles, pass ahead. 2-on-1 lob over the top. Snatches it. Coles fouled. Scores the bucket and 1 coming up at the line for TCU. The best fast break offense in the nation. No Eddie Lampkin. This team is just downhill drivers all around this team that's just so good at finishing through contact at the rim as we have a timeout taken on the floor. Media timeout right now, TCU with a 6-point lead with 15:43 left. Wow, this has been a great game tonight. Winner of this game will take on Texas tomorrow night in the late game at 9:30. Feel free to join in for both of my streams tomorrow. Kansas taking on Iowa State. It's been shocking that Iowa State swept Baylor. Iowa State, without their number 3 scorer, Caleb Grill, back-to-back victories, both against Baylor. And then whoever wins this one will take on Texas. So Vegas saw the tweet there from one of the sports reporter from Channel 12. Ed Cooley responded, "Don't be surprised to see us in the Final Four." Yeah, it better be with UConn in the Final Four. UConn's playing elite. That's a tough UConn team. Providence struggles with size. They're an undersized type of team. They'd get wrecked against Arizona. It's just all about matchups. That's the thing. Like, how in the world is Stanford hanging in against Arizona right now? When you have, like Providence would get destroyed, like against like a team like Arizona or Duke. Oh, okay. So Stanford does have a 7'1" center on their team. Like every single team they struggle with, it seems like, has like a big man that's like 7 feet tall. Washington State's got one. Oregon's got N'Faly Dante. It's just weird. Yeah, this game's been great tonight. Let's get to the scoreboard. Nevada lost in overtime today. Guess what? We got another Mountain West game going into overtime, and just, we'll keep on saying it over and over again. Mountain West just crushing themselves right now. I did not expect anything from this group of teams, but Boise State, UNLV going into overtime at 73. UNLV with a game-tying 3 at the buzzer, from what it sounds like, because I saw it was 73-70. When time expired, it says zeros on the clock. End of second, 73-73. UNLV and Boise State going into overtime. So Boise State on the ropes right now, just like Nevada. Wow, Creighton doing really well. 46-28, leading Villanova. It's going to be it for the season for Villanova. I saw Creighton coming. This team is getting to its peak. Creighton, UConn in that grouping with, I'd say, Texas A&M's in that grouping. Kentucky's been playing strong lately. Yeah, Creighton right with UConn. Both have been playing elite lately. Couple blips there for Creighton. They did lose against Villanova, I believe, the last time they met up. But wow, Creighton is a team you definitely don't want to see in your bracket. Lost in the second round last year to the national champion. They get the same starting 5 back. Yeah. Don't want to see Creighton in your bracket. We get back to action. I don't know how they're projected to 7. They should not. Yeah, Duke is soaring right now. Maryland looking good as well, 61-49. TCU set it off the side of the glass, and it went out of bounds, according to the refs. So that's hit the back of the backboard out of bounds. Saturday, I'm hoping to cover the Big 12 championship at 6 o'clock, and then the ACC championship. And then Sunday will be the SEC championship, Big 10 championship, and then Selection Sunday live stream. All depending on the matchups there, but I believe they're a second weekend team for Creighton, unless they get like a tough matchup in the round of 32. But they're going to at least the Sweet 16, and then after that, I guess it all depends on like who comes up, like where the matchups are gonna be in the bracket. That's the thing. TCU tacks on another bucket, 50-42 now. Keontae Johnson drives, attacks, lost the handle. Right place, right time though to his teammate. Almost lost it with Tyke Green. Green dribbles around the outside. Bounce pass to a cutter. Marquise Noel dish over to Keontae Johnson. They're going to call it a shooting foul. Or not here on the floor. Let's see. And they will not call it a shooting foul. It will be before the shot. So this will be an inbound coming up, I believe, by K-State. So they called it on the pass by Marquise Noel. That was a nice dish there. So that robbed a 2-point make by Keontae Johnson. So instead of 50-44, it will be 50-42. The first round starts on next Thursday, so 1 week from today, Thursday, March 16th. The playing games start before that. On Tuesday and Wednesday, they have the playing games wide open off the inbound for the bucket by Desi Sills. 14:30 left to go. TCU with the ball, going to slow down tempo, and Mike Miles. Miles at the top of the key, guarded by Marquise Noel. Miles dribbles pro hop, puts up a tough shot, missed off the front rim, got contacted though and fouled by Noel. And this will be 2 free throws coming up at the line for Mike Miles. Yeah, no problem. Vanderbilt still needs to do work for the bracket. Vandy's leading 58-47 over LSU. Man. Clemson again. Wow. Clemson is hot right now. They are hot. 65-46. Clemson leading over NC State. They're doing it again. Pounding NC State. Man, it's just so tough to win against a team like 3 in a row. I'm not sure if Clemson's beat NC State 3 times this season, but we've seen today Penn State swept Illinois, Iowa State swept Baylor 3-0 during the season, and Clemson pounded NC State a couple weeks ago, and major second half for them. Wow. 8-point lead. Corner 3 missed by K-State. Offensive rebound through contact by Ismail Massoud as he gets knocked down and fouled from behind. The clock will stop with 13:50. Non-shooting foul. TCU picks up their 5th personal. Kansas State with 4. It will lead to a Kansas State inbound. K-State underneath their hoop. Keontae Johnson, the inbound passer, lobs it up, and shot gets rejected by TCU. They come up with the basketball. Here they go out of the pack. Shahadi Wells right to the rim. Missed the layup. Tipped off the glass for 2 off the tip-in. Chuck O'Bannon. They call it an offensive rebound. 2 points. It's the largest lead of the game for TCU. Noel, backdoor scores. Nifty move right to the rim. 54-46, under 13:30 left to go. TCU with a lead will slow it down with Mike Miles. Mike Miles at the left wing, guarded by Noel. Miles at 6'1", Noel at 5'7". Miles tonight got himself 19 points. That's the top scorer. Takes the 3, missed off the rim. Offensive rebound, Micah Peavy out to Miles with a 3. Miles puts it through, nobody on him. 11-point lead for TCU. Taking over this game from Mike Miles. This is a real promising sign for TCU. This team cannot shoot the 3 whatsoever throughout this season. Tonight, they're 44% from 3-point range. That's impressive. They got experience, too, on this TCU squad. I think this game just put all my worries about TCU aside. 3-point shot is good by K-State. Keontae Johnson up to 14. I'm hoping that TCU is not a 5 in the bracket. They got experience, they're physical. And if they take on Oral Roberts, I don't know what to pick right there. Really don't, because they've been a good defensive team this season. That could be like a South Dakota State type of matchup that you want to fade, because this TCU team is one of the most physical of the bunch in the bracket. Chuck O'Bannon, step back 3, makes it 60-49. Yeah, there isn't no problem with this team with distractions. 11-point lead for one of the most experienced teams in the field. TCU going to take on Texas tomorrow if they can close it out. With under 12 minutes left to go, this team is dropping 3 after 3 after 3. A big development tonight for only 7 turnovers, forcing 14 turnovers by K-State. Wow. Turnovers crush you. That's the problem. Kansas State at the bottom of the league in turnovers this season. Memphis is another one that has a lot of turnover problems. I love how Memphis played against Houston on Sunday. If Memphis gets Mizzou, though, in the bracket, it's tough sledding, I feel like. Missouri's one of the best ball-hogging teams when it comes to steals in the nation. They're scrappy. I see that draw a lot. Memphis against Mizzou in the bracket. It's too bad because I really like what they did against Houston. They played so many teams close this season. Arkansas is, I believe they're an 8 seed to take on Maryland. That's a great matchup. Good matchup. Maryland, by the way, leading Minnesota right now, 67-54. Arkansas got the job done, beat Auburn 76-73 tonight. Boise State leading UNLV, minute 45 left to go in overtime, 79-75. Creighton, with under 12 left to go, up over Villanova, 55-38. Arizona puts up 95 on the board. They can score. They certainly can score for Arizona, 95-84. Winners over Stanford tonight for Arizona. That game for the first 35 minutes was closer than the score on the final score indicates. Clemson destroying NC State 72-48. Clemson playing their way to be a part of the tournament. I think right now you have to put Clemson in the bracket after tonight. Like, I don't think there's any doubt about it. This team was a 3 seed in the ACC. And for them to come out, NC State crushed Virginia Tech. They can keep it up. They can put all of that to rest tomorrow when they take on Virginia. If Clemson beats Virginia, they're definitely a lock. They have 2 bad losses that really hurt them. They lost by 2 at South Carolina. This one really hurts. They lost by 18 against Loyola Chicago. They finished the ACC season at 14-6. At one point, they started out 7-0 in ACC play. That win against Duke really has been shining. So Clemson beat Duke. Lost by 4 against Miami. They did lose against BC. That one hurts, but at least it was by single digits. The loss against Louisville really hurts. Wow, they have swept NC State. They've convincingly beat NC State 3 times. 78-64, 96-71. And right now, Clemson's leading 72-48. And we're going to go on another timeout. So a quick timeout as we just joined back in. 11:41 left to play. Yeah, thanks so much, Renee, for joining in. Feel free to join back tomorrow. I plan on covering both of the Big 12 semifinal matchups. Yeah, Boise State right now running away with it in overtime. That should help out their cause to make the tournament for Boise State. Still would not want to pick them, though, on any chance I get in the bracket. Not touching a Mountain West team. 81-75 Boise. Minute 25 left to go in OT. Right now, we're just on a timeout. Thanks all for joining in tonight. We got 11:41 left to play. If you guys are new in the stream, make sure to hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe here. As I cover basketball action on the channel, college hoops, also NBA as well. I'll be back tomorrow night. Both of the semifinal matches for the Big 12. Kansas taking on Iowa State. Texas taking on the winner of this matchup. Hey, have a nice night, Patrick. Thanks so much for joining in. Both of these teams shot the ball well at the free throw line. TCU 12 of 14 tonight. 86%. K-State 7 of 8 at the free throw line. That's the big key. If you want to go deep in the bracket, you have to make your free throws too. And doing that throughout the course of the night. I've been impressed by TCU, how they've been able to control the basketball tonight. Just 7 turnovers. 15 turnovers by K-State. 23-10 second chance points for TCU tonight. And TCU has attempted 11 more shots than Kansas State in the matchup. Hey, sending my blessings out to your father there. Thanks so much for joining in, RKB. We get back to action. 11:30 left to go. TCU with a possession left to right on the floor. Mike Miles, top scorer tonight with 19 points for the Horned Frogs. 8 on the shot clock for TCU using clock time. Miles steps into a 3. Got another one. He's got 22. They got tournament-style guards on this team. Mike Miles, 22 points, 10 in the second half, and we're not even midway through the second. 10:55 left to go. Noel circles around, dish out to the wing, Naquan Tomlin. Tomlin passes back out to Marquise Noel, flings it out to the top of the key. K-State bounce pass over around the perimeter. Keontae Johnson shoots the 3, missed off the rim, and TCU just physical as they come up with a strong defensive board by Xavier Cork. Horned Frogs have it. They're taking over the game with their physicality. Cross-court pass, left wing, Micah Peavy. Peavy pro-hop in the key, shovels it. Over to Damian Baugh, dumps it down the lane. Missed layup by Peavy, tipped around. Keontae Johnson with a defensive board. Marquise Noel. 10:15 left to go. Passes out to his right to Johnson. Johnson hands it off at the free throw circle for K-State. Over into the hands to Naquan Tomlin. As we approach the 10-minute mark left to go, Tomlin, dribble drive, nice bounce pass down low. They score up and in off the glass with Abayomi Iola, number 23. 12-point game, other 10 minutes left to play. It's interesting because K-State's a better shooting team tonight, 46.5% shooting compared to just 41% shooting from the floor for TCU, but you have to control the basketball, and right now the turnover has been a major issue throughout the course of the night, and TCU drilling the threes. How about this development? 10 of 19 from three-point range. Chuck O'Bannon drills the 3. Where's this been all season for TCU? Kiss off the glass by Marquise Noel. Season high tonight for O'Bannon. And a timeout taken on the floor by K-State. 13-point lead for the Horned Frogs as their tournament experience, one of the oldest rosters in college basketball, their experience in just general, really helping out this Squad tonight. Impressive. I would not count out this TCU team. Really would not count out this TCU team. These are the guys that they got, and they're playing right with these guys. TCU will probably be a 6 seed. Would not be shocked if they face Pitt in the first round, going up against Jamie Dixon's old stomping grounds. That will make a fascinating matchup there in 11 versus 6 in the tournament. 66-53. I would hate it if Oral Roberts gets this team, because they're just so physical. They remind me of Providence from last year when you had to fade South Dakota State right to the rim. Kansas State scores off the turnover. 66-55. Like, they're one of the most physical teams in the field. And without Lampkin tonight, I thought they'd be in big trouble. They're just like Iowa State, proving everybody wrong. Really good statement tonight by TCU. They got the experience for sure. Miller, pass over to Coles. Coles inside a key. Shovels it out to the corner. Jumper, deep two, swoosh. Wow, the Horned Frogs lighting it up, and he got knocked down on the shot as well. It'll be one shot coming up at the free throw line for Chuck O'Bannon. Danian, thanks so much for joining in. Chuck O'Bannon up to 19. New season high, only averages around 7 points per game. Keontae Johnson just picked up his 4th personal foul. And the free throw is good. It's 68-55. So O'Bannon's got 19. 8:25 left to go. And K-State right past midcourt. Called an offensive foul. So Johnson, he's going to head towards the bench. He's got 4 now. So Keontae Johnson with 4 heads towards the bench. These minutes for this team is not, they're not just not distributed easily. Like, it's only 2 guys. That's the thing. Marquise Noel, Keontae Johnson, 31 minutes tonight by Noel. Johnson with 30. After that, it's just an odd distribution. You got guys playing like 19 minutes, 10, 9, 7. It's just, they got a duo on this team. They got a bunch of like other guys, though, that I'm not sure if they know like what their roles are, because they're like, they got different like distribution of minutes compared to like usually like the normal type of team. Like TCU down the line's got minutes of 29, 22, 23, 24, 14, 17, 16, 11. These guys got just 2 guys playing heavy minutes, and then after that it's just scattered with a couple guys playing single digits, and the rest of them in the teens as well. Ooh. Damian Baugh got knocked down. Mike Miles as well slipped on the floor. Both of them a little bit slow to get up, but able to get up on the court, and looks like we'll take the media timeout here. 7:37 left to go. A 13-point lead for TCU. 40-plus watching right now. If you guys are new in the stream, make sure to hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe. I cover basketball action on the channel, play-by-play, college hoops, also NBA games, and feel free to come on board tomorrow. I plan on covering both of the semifinals for the Big 12. We got Kansas versus Iowa State in the first matchup tomorrow night at 7 p.m., and then after that, the winner of this game will take on Texas in the nightcap at 9:30. So feel free to join in. Hit us up in the chat who you guys are a fan of as well. Difference big time in this matchup has been turnovers. 16 total turnovers by K-State, just 8 tonight by TCU. Quick update on the scoreboard. Creighton leading Villanova 63-45. Vanderbilt up over LSU 71-57. Boise State takes it in overtime. Really needed that extra session to win. They did that. They did exactly that. 87-76 Boise State. That should be enough to make them to get into the bracket now for Boise State. If they lost that, they'd be sweating for sure. Selection Sunday. Clemson keeps on going. They can put themselves as a lock tomorrow night with a win over Virginia, considering all the teams that lost today out in front. 80-54 Clemson, winners over NC State. We have 7:37 left to go if you're just joining in. TCU been remarkable from three-point range. One of their best games from the perimeter all season long. They're 10 of 20 from three. Mike Miles with 22 points. Chuck O'Bannon's got 19 tonight. And both of them have made 6 shots total. Miles tonight really showing why he's the best player on the floor. 6 of 12 shooting, 4 of 7 from 3. O'Bannon, 6 of 10 shooting, season high. 3 of 6 from 3. Just a big physical type of team. And they're without Eddie Lampkin for the whole Big 12 tournament. And that did not appear to be a distraction tonight for TCU. This team really rallied. They were down by 9 points early on in the game, and they really rallied and have been able to come back and go up by double digits ever since, not look back. And Mike Miles now heads towards the bench. He's got 22, so he's on the bench as we start off the final 7:47 of action. Kansas State now on the bonus as TCU picks up number 7. So Desi Sills now at the free throw line. 2 shots in the shooting fall. First one's good. Second shot by Sills is good as well. $11-point lead, 7.5 left to go. 16 turnovers by K-State, just 8 by TCU, leading to 19 points by the Horned Frogs off of those 16 turnovers by the Wildcats tonight. TCU with a possession. As they drive, bounce pass down low inside. It's a bucket. Up and in off the glass by Jacoby Coles. Playing fast all night long, their recipe for the Horned Frogs. Approaching the 7-minute mark left to go. Marquise Noel hands it off around the perimeter. Out to the left wing, back to Noel. Noel at the top of the key. Noel, deep range 3. No good, grazed off the front rim. Loose ball rebound, and going to have a foul picked up on the loose ball assessed to TCU. So that'll be foul number 8 now. That's a team for the Horned Frogs as K-State will head to the bonus. 1-1 coming up at the free throw line. Repo Coop, welcome in. Yeah, turnover's been a crusher for you guys today. I did not know TCU could shoot the ball like this from the perimeter. That's been a huge development. Free throw missed as well at the line for K-State. TCU 10 of 20 from three-point range. This team's got the experience. They got the physicality for TCU. And if they can generate a perimeter shot, they are even more dangerous come tournament time because they have one of the oldest teams in the field for TCU. Substitutions now for the Horned Frogs. K-State in the backcourt picked up the reach-in, so now TCU. We'll head to the free throw line coming up. Damian Baugh, with under 7 minutes left to go, 1-1 at the free throw line. 72% free throw shooter this season. First one, high arcing, rattled in. Second shot, that's good. 15-point TCU lead. Under 7 minutes left to play. Pass midcourt, Marquise Noel lobs it, deflected by TCU, up in the air. Keontae Johnson lost it, another turnover. Just a tough pass through a triple team down low, looking for a backdoor type lob, and TCU's defense was ready. As K-State turned it over off of Keontae Johnson, last the baseline. 17 turnovers tonight for Kansas State, only 8 by TCU. The story of this game. Pass midcourt, TCU will slow down the ball. 6:35 left to go. Thanks so much, Bryce. Enjoy the rest of your night. I'll see you tomorrow. TCU able to save it down at the low block. Bounce pass over to a cutter, and they put it up, get knocked down and fouled. And Micah Peavy will shoot 2 coming up at the free throw line. He's just been on attack mode all game long. K-State's been cold. Hasn't scored a field goal in the last 2.5 minutes for K-State, whereas TCU's made the last 6 of 8. Micah Peavy, 70% free throw shooter, 2 shots. First one missed off the back rim. Second free throw coming up at the line for Peavy. We have 6:30 left to play, and that missed as well off the back rim. Rebounded by K-State. Marquise Noel lost it, stolen away. TCU comes up with a steal. Passing right ahead of the pack. Peavy knocked down, got chopped up in a hard fall from behind by Keontae Johnson, and that's number 5, I believe, and he is done for the game. Yeah, he is done for the game with 6:18 left to play. Johnson called in the personal. 5th personal foul, and this is a Kansas State team that relies heavily upon their top 2 stars, and Keontae Johnson's the top scorer and the top rebounder on the team, and he is done for the final 6:18. 5 personal fouls, finishes with 14 points tonight and 7 rebounds. The top scorer and the top rebounder, playing the second most minutes behind point guard Marquise Noel. He played 30 minutes tonight. TCU will head to the free throw line. 2 shots coming up. Just disappointing game for Kansas State tonight. They get out in front. They had a 9-point lead. Micah Peavy will shoot 2. Just being in this type of tournament experience. TCU here last year with basically their whole team back for the majority. And this team looks like they want to make a run once again in the tournament. Last year, they gave number 1 seeded Arizona a run for its money. Second free throw missed off the back rim. 6:10 left to go. Off the fingertips of a K-State player. These guys are just not coordinated. Cameron Carter in and out of his hands. Yikes. This K-State team would not match up well against Sam Houston State in the bracket if they draw them. Sam Houston State's top 15 in steals per game. They beat Oklahoma in their season opener. Just not a good matchup when you turn it over at such a high rate. Corner 3, TCU missed off the rim, and a rebound fall picked up on the floor. It's going to be assessed to TCU. Over the back call picked up by Xavier Cork. That's number 9 now as a team for TCU. 5:41 left to go. We'll get to the next scoreboard update once we get into the next timeout of this game. 1-1 at the free throw line with Ismail Massoud. He's a 95% free throw shooter. And the first one's good for K-State. Second shot, good as well. Yeah, Iowa State been a big shock. Like whenever I've covered Baylor, I've really liked what I've seen from Baylor, but I've covered, I think most of their, like whenever I've done a stream, it's been a home game usually for them, but they seem like they haven't been doing too hot away from home for Baylor. Their defense has suffered. They just can't play consistent defense. 73-59, 14-point TCU lead. Bounce pass to a cutter. Bounce pass down low inside. TCU had position, couldn't score at the rim. They are able to draw the shooting foul though, and Emmanuel Miller, or no, this will be a loose ball foul picked up on the floor by TCU. It looked like it was going to come from behind for the fall, but it didn't. But this will be charged to TCU. Picked up by Xavier Cork. So Cork with 2 quick personal fouls. He now has 3. And this will send Kansas State to the double bonus. 2 free throws here for Desi Sills. The first one's good. Second free throw. Missed off the back rim, tipped up, and TCU collects the defensive rebound. Just see that one team is just so much more athletic than the other, being TCU tonight on the floor. TCU bounce pass out to the corner. Emmanuel Miller moves it back outside, edge of the logo. Damian Baugh into the hands to Mike Miles, the top scorer tonight. Tied with Chuck O'Bannon. Both have 22. Kick out. Corner. 3 on its way. There you go. O'Bannon drills it. He's got 22. The stat feed was a little bit ahead of me. Now he's got 22. It's a 16-point TCU lead under 5 minutes left to go. Kick out to the corner to Naquan Tomlin with a 3. Missed off the mark. Tipped up in the offensive rebound. One dribble. Masood puts it back up and in. Feel free to join the Behind Your Basketball Bracket Challenge group if you guys would like as well. That link is posted in the chat, pinned to the chat too. So if you like to do that, feel free to join in. Brackets will be released on Sunday for right after Selection Sunday. Brackets will lock on Thursday around 12 p.m. Eastern Time, right before the first round. Spin move down the lane, high off the glass, kiss off the glass scores by Damian Baugh. They're just firing on a high level tonight for TCU. Looking like a complete machine out there on the floor. 4 minutes left to go. Scoop score up and in off the glass by Marquise Noel for K-State. TCU attacks the paint. Right to the rim. Missed. Offensive rebound down low. The putback is good. Xavier Cork up and in off the glass. Three-point shot missed off the front rim by K-State. TCU comes out with a defensive board. 3:20 remaining. TCU will slow down tempo right now. Damian Baugh guarded at the edge of the logo. Baugh dribbles straight line. Baugh low block. Bounce pass into the hands to Miller. Shovels over to Miller. Miller lost it. And last touch to the baseline out of bounds by Noel of K-State. 3:02 left to go. This will lead us to the media timeout right now. A lot of basketball action going on here, and we finally take the timeout on the floor. Rough end for K-State, most likely, in the Big 12 tournament for them. They had a better shooting percentage than TCU. TCU was just the stronger, more physical type of team tonight. 25-12 points in the paint for TCU. TCU scored 20 points off K-State turnovers, and there was a plus 14 shot attempt difference between these two teams. TCU right now 27-63 shooting. K-State just 23-49 right now. The turnovers been just the major issue tonight for K-State. 19 turnovers compared to just 8 by TCU, and yeah, that's been the problem. TCU had just 3 turnovers in the entire first half. Jesus, welcome in. Quick update right now on the scoreboard. Creighton leading Villanova 75-61 down to the final 2.5 minutes. A lot of the other games have wrapped up recently. Clemson, big winners over NC State, 80-54 tonight. Vanderbilt wins over LSU 77-68. Feel free to join in tomorrow. I plan on covering both of the doubleheaders for the Big 12 tournament. Kansas versus Iowa State. That's the 1 versus 5 seeds tomorrow at 7. And then Texas will take on the winner of this matchup, which it looks like it's TCU, barring any miracle in the final 3 minutes. Yeah, no problem, Suzanne. Thanks so much for joining in. Appreciate for finding my stream. Hey, thanks so much, Jesus. Appreciate it. Chuck O'Bannon, only averaging around 7 points per game. 22 points tonight from him, 22 points from Mike Miles. Both have gone 4 for 7 from three-point range. But a great sign for TCU, who struggled to find their way from three-point range this season, but tonight they're 48% from 3. Final 3 minutes left to go. TCU jacks up a 3 off the inbound, and it missed off the back rim by Damian Baugh. Kansas State with a ball. Deep range 3 from the Phillips 66 logo. Missed off the mark by Marquise Noel. Saved by Tomlin. Into the hands to Cameron Carter. Tomlin, corner 3. He hits it. 13-point game now. 2:35 remaining. TCU been great as well for the most part at the free throw line. 15-21 tonight. Horned Frogs have the ball with Damian Baugh. Ball dribbles, kicks, corner, 3 on his way. TCU missed off the rim by Emmanuel Miller. Defensive rebound hauled in by Kansas State. Cameron Carter. Pass over to Massoud. Swings it out to the wing. Tomlin jacks up the 3. No good. Ooh, hard fall on the hardwood right there. Trying to come up with a rebound. Desi Sills soars up. Lands directly on his backside. Great to see. He's up and able to walk it off. So Sills gets up. That was a hard fall on his backside trying to go up for the offensive rebound. Went on a bounce off of Sills. 2 minutes left to go. It'll be TCU ball. And Mike Miles checking onto the game right now. Great game for him with 22 for the final 2 minutes. TCU just going to slow it down. They've been in attack mode all game long. No Eddie Lampkin tonight. Things struggled right from the start for them. They got down early. They were down by 9 points, but then after the first time out, they corrected it, and they were able to just limit the Kansas State assists, stop K-State, force turnovers, and play their type of basketball. Fast up the floor, getting to the rim, drawing fouls. And TCU was the aggressor tonight, really just attacked down the throats of the K-State defense. And it can be seen points in the paint tonight. Early on, they were up points in the paint. Kansas State did most of the points in the paint in the second half. But second chance points, 25 second chance points by TCU in this game. K-State moves it out to the corner. 3 by Masood. Missed off the rim. Pushed off the glass. And the rebound goes to the defense with TCU. These guys are just active when it comes to the glass. All season long. Crash and crash and crash the glass for TCU. We're down to 1:05 left to go. Bounce pass over to Coles at the wing. Coles passes out to the corner. Micah Peavy. They're just playing keep away at this point as Kansas State has not followed yet. Coles, shot clock winding down. Shoots the 3. Tipped up. No good. Rebounded by Kansas State with 50 seconds. And the pass made down the far side of the floor, and it went out of bounds by Kansas State, and that's been the story of this game. Wow. One player for K-State wasn't even paying attention up the floor. It's too bad because their floor spacing had looked great early on, and just once TCU got to settle in this game, Kansas State just became what they've been throughout the season, struggling with turnovers. That's been a major issue this year. Back of the pack team in turnovers per game. The average over 14 turnovers this year for K-State. 20 turnovers tonight. 45 seconds left. Looks like K-State won't fall, and TCU will take on Texas tomorrow, as I'll be calling that game. That's the nightcap at 9:30 after the Kansas versus Iowa State game. Feel free to tune in tomorrow. I'll be covering Kansas versus Iowa State, the first semifinal, and then TCU versus Texas, the second semifinal. Back-to-back matchups tomorrow at 7 and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Missed 3 at the corner with 20 seconds left by K-State. TCU comes up with a rebound. Mike Miles, 22 points. Chuck O'Bannon with 22 points. TCU forcing 20 total turnovers tonight by K-State. The Horned Frogs with 9 steals as a team, 5 total blocks. They made 11 threes. They shot the ball 44% from three-point range. A major development for TCU, for a team that could not get it going from 3 throughout the season. This is a great time to get hot for an experienced squad. They got one of the oldest teams in the tournament field for TCU, and they pick up the victory in the quarterfinals today, 80-67. Thanks all for joining in, everybody, being a part in the stream tonight. Really good statement win for TCU. No Eddie Lampkin. He is out for the Big 12 tournament. Could have been seen as a distraction, but they handled business. It was a slow start, but once they settled into the game, they get going on. They flipped a 9-point deficit into a 13-point victory tonight for the Horned Frogs. I'm going to go Kentucky tomorrow over Vandy, and then I'll take Texas A&M in that game. I think Arkansas-Texas A&M is going to be really close tomorrow. We're going to close out in this one. Thanks so much all for joining in, being a part here in the stream tonight. We'll close out to the channel members. I'll see you guys tomorrow for both of the semifinal matchups. All channel members get a shout out here. We got Jason, Rajeep, Russell, Oreo Pudding, Bradley, Braden, Mario, Bino, Mark, John, Kenneth, Jess, Ahino, Joseph, Vegas, SG Sports Talk, Michael Warren, I Am Ghost, Kelly, Asia, Laszlo, Roderick, Reynaldo, Didi, Katie, Barco, Siegel, Woopig, Ian, Oink Oink, Emmanuel, and Robin. Thanks all for joining in tonight. TCU picks up the victory over K-State, 80-67 the final score, and enjoy the rest of your Thursday night, everybody.